In today's video, I'm going to discuss about gut microbiomes. Gut microbiomes are microorganisms that live in the gastrointestinal system. Gut microbiomes bring multitude of health benefit to humankind. They improve the immunity of our body, also protects us from various degenerative diseases like diabetes, cardiovascular disease, cancer, arthritis, and so on. The gut is also called as the second brain because both the gut and brain, they are interrelated to each other. When we are able to maintain a healthy gut, that is when our gut is functioning effectively, our brain will also function effectively and in a healthy manner. Hence, gut is also called the second brain. The human body is an ecosystem that is home to a complex array of microbes known as the microbiome or microbiota. This ecosystem plays an important role in human health, but as a result of recent lifestyle changes occurring around the planet, the whole population is seeing a major shift in the gut microbiota. Individuals living traditional lifestyles around the world, they share a strikingly similar microbiota composition that is distinct from that found in industrialized populations. Industrial advances, including processed foods, a highly sanitized environment, ability to healthcare like antibiotics, have been shown to influence microbiota composition. Our lifestyle influence influences our gut microbiome. In this picture, we are seeing two persons. One person is living in a city. He is able to enjoy a hygienic environment. That is, he is living in a environment that is without, that is sterile of microorganisms. He's, he's enjoying lavish, tasty, processed foods. He's able to avail modern healthcare facilities. There is the second person. He's living in a rural area. He's able to get natural sources of food like whole grain cereals, vegetables, fruits, meat products, along with microorganisms. When we compare the health condition of these two persons, who seems to be healthier? It is the second person who is living with microbiotas. The World Health Organization and the Food and Agricultural Organization defines probiotics as live microorganism, which, when administered in adequate amounts, confer a health benefit on the host. Example, curd, buttermilk, cheese, sauerkraut, tempeh, miso, soy beverages, fermented batter, and dough. So probiotics of micro-living organisms or living microorganisms, and when we consume them along the food, they provide us umpteen of health benefits to us. And prebiotics or fiber-like indigestible carbohydrates, which are present in our food that are broken down by bacteria in the colon. That is, they are fermented and they are made into simpler substances along with the production of gas. The breakdown products foster the growth of beneficial bacteria. The digestive tract generally contains over 500 species of microorganisms and 100 trillions of bacteria. Examples of prebiotics are whole cereals, high fiber vegetables, onions, garlic, guava, bananas, and potato starch. Banana and potato starch, they contain resistant fiber which is not digested by our small intestine and they stay in the colon for a long time, leading to the fermentation and production of gas. This gas and the substances, they serve as food for microbiota, leading to the production of short-chain fatty acids, so many important vitamins and minerals, which are much essential for our body. Some species of bacteria, such as E. coli strain 0157 is H7, may cause disease. Others, such as strains of Lactobacillus and Bifidobacteria, may help prevent certain diseases because they foster the growth of beneficial bacteria. Prebiotics are considered intestinal fertilizers. They help in the growth, that is, they encourage the growth of bacteria, they promote the growth of bacteria, that is, the multiplication of bacteria. Hence, they are called as intestinal fertilizers. So, what is the difference between probiotics and prebiotics? It's very simple. Probiotics, they are live microorganisms. When they are administered in adequate amounts, they provide health benefits. Whereas prebiotics, any food substance that contains high fiber, which helps in which helps the microorganism to grow, to multiply, proliferation of beneficial bacteria. A food substance that contains both probiotic and prebiotic are called as symbiotic. Symbiotic has been defined as a mixture of prebiotics and probiotics. Examples of symbiotics are yogurt and honey that are sold in the market. Now, in this picture denotes the role of gut microbiota in health and disease. So, the area that is in blue color denotes a healthier side or the health benefits provided by the microbes, whereas the area that is indicated in red, along with probiotics, there is an increased production of short chain fatty acids. As I already told you, these short chain fatty acids, they serve as a food for the microbiomes, and enormous amount of vitamins like vitamin E, vitamin K, vitamin H are produced in our gut. Similarly, probiotics along with dietary fiber increase the antioxidant property of our body, thereby thereby protecting our body from the damaging free radicals. Also, the probiotics decreases the secretion of a toxin called endoxyl sulfate. When we consume dietary fiber along with probiotics, they improve the lipid metabolism. That is, they reduce the production of cholesterol, thereby decreasing the production of triglycerides, low density lipoproteins, whereas they increase the production of high density lipoprotein, which are much essential for a functioning of a cardiovascular system. They also reduce the inflammation of the gut and prevent us from irritable bowel syndrome and inflammatory bowel diseases. Also, these probiotics, they improve the insulin sensitivity of the cells, thereby preventing the occurrence of type 2 diabetes. Also, they reduce the risk of infections like diarrhea, cold, urinary tract infections, and so many infections. These microbiomes protects us from infections. Whereas when we do not take enough fiber and probiotic food, what happens? The pH of our gastrointestinal system is altered, leading to proton pump and when we consume excessive protein, saturated fatty acids, and proton pump inhibitors as well as antibiotics, it results in decreased short chain fatty acid production, increased toxin production by kidneys, increased lipid production by the kidneys, which thereby increases the cardiovascular disease risk. Also, it causes the inflammation of the gut, and the cognitive health of our brain also decreases. Their diet without fiber increases the insulin resistance of the cells, thereby the blood glucose circulates in the blood and damages our organs. There is also increased risk of infection and our body becomes more prone to infections. Here is a review of literature that supports the beneficial effect of probiotics. The patient with highest benefits from cancer treatment were those with more microbial diversity, but also those with higher abundance of a specific bacterium known as Akkermansia eosinophila, said Sarah Highlander, a research professor in TGen's Pathogen and Microbiome Division. Highlander's one potential takeaway is that oncologists might encourage patients to pay attention to their gut microbiome by eating a high fiber diet, including fruits and vegetables, high in fructooligosaccharides such as bananas, dried fruits, onions, leeks, garlic, asparagus, and artichokes, as well as grains with resistant starches such as barley or uncooked potato starch, for example. So, don't have an idea that microorganisms are bad. There exist beneficial microorganisms which provide multitude of health benefits to us. Thank you.